morning, everyone, and welcome to our Bible sharing this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. May the Lord bless you, keep you, and protect you always. The reading today is from 2 Timothy chapter 4, 1 to 5. And this small passage can be considered as a user manual or a recommendation or a specification booklet, a how-to booklet for a missionary, for a disciple of Jesus Christ, and for an evangelist. Let us analyze this passage a little bit and see it to ourselves. See it for ourselves what Paul wants to share with Timothy, but also would like to share with each and every one of us who want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. Paul shared with Timothy that a missionary or an evangelist has to be always transparent of God. That's the reason why Paul said to Timothy, in the presence of God and of Jesus Christ. An evangelist has to be always mindful, aware that they are living in the presence of God and that they should follow the way, the truth, and the life. Not to be of an emotion of feeling that God is always right there for me as a threat of a force that I have to reckon with, but to remind themselves of His presence in order to give them a consolation, a place to hide, a place to be sheltered in when times got tough, when things not going according to their wish, a fortress, a protection for them in time of dangers and depression. And this God, the God who create the whole universe, He also at the end of time will be the judge, a very just who will give a verdict to everyone fair and square. In Romans chapter 2 verses 6 we read, God will repay each person according to his deeds. And finally, the disciple has to be always mindful of the presence of God, because they have to constantly remind themselves that without God, I can do nothing. And Jesus said, without me, you could do nothing. Without me, you could do nothing. And one extra point that the disciple has to also keep in mind is that they have to remember that king, the king of the whole universe, will come. Not just might come or may come, but he will come to judge the living and the dead and to establish his kingdom. And because of that, the disciples have to remind themselves, according to the word of Jesus, that every day work for the food, not for the food that will perish, that will disappear, but for the food that will endure for eternal life. Very important. So those are a few things that a disciple or an evangelist or a missionary of Jesus have to always keep in their mind. Now, after remember all these things, it is the time for them to be in action. And St. Paul encouraged Timothy as well as all of us. Proclaim the message. Proclaim the message. Be persistent whether the time is favorable or unfavorable. Proclaim, shout out from the rooftop the message of God. As Jesus commanded his disciples, go to all the nations and proclaim the good news. Make the disciple of all nations. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. That is Mark chapter 16 and Matthew 28. How beautiful is the feet of a messenger who bring the good news to others. In the book of the prophet Isaiah, St. Paul said, woe to me if I didn't proclaim the good news. So proclaim, share, spread the good news with joy and with love for others, of course. But proclaim the good news with persistency. Okay? Not just a seasonal worker, not a worker that work according to his or her mood. Persistent, persevered, in good time or in bad time, in sickness or in health. We can put it that way as one of the vows of the marriage couple give to each other. Be persistent in good time, in bad time, days in and days out. Patient, whether the time is favorable or unfavorable. And if necessary, do convince, persuade, and rebuke. Also, show to the one who are willing to listen what is wrong, what is the problem, and what they can do to make a U-turn in their life. But especially to encourage with the utmost patience in teaching, cheering them up, motivate them, inspire them, uplift them, not just by our word, not just by beautiful speech alone, but by exemplary lifestyle, inspirational lifestyle, motivational actions. Why a disciple has to do all this? St. Paul shared the reason very clearly. Because there is a good way, bad way, and ugly way. There is way that will lead to life. That way is often narrow and difficult. In Matthew chapter 7:14. And there are also easy, broad road that leads to destruction. And as human beings, due to the remnant of the original sin and due to the permanent weakness of our flesh, we tend to pick up the philosophy, the teaching, the lifestyle that suit our own desire and wander away from the truth. And because of that, the disciples need to share with them the authentic truth of Jesus. And finally, Paul encouraged Timothy as well as encouraging all of us. As for you, always be sober, be alert, be wise as a dove, and clever as a snake, like Jesus said. Endure suffering, carrying our cross every day. Do the work of an evangelist. Carry out our ministry fully, wholeheartedly, eagerly, enthusiastically, and fervently. So that's the sharing of St. Paul to Timothy, as well as to all of us today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a beautiful day in Christ.